How big can I get my heart to be?
Thought Media Network proudly presents
How much love can I get flowing out of me?
The Real Talk Sisters. Deep, unfiltered, soulful conversations with Reverend Dr. Pjae Stanley, Reverend Kim Andrews, and Reverend Melinda Wood Allen.
How big can I get my heart to be?
Join us for Real Talk on Real Issues, Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Central, 1 o'clock Mountain. And now, let's join the Real Talk Sisters.
How big can I get my heart to be?
Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Oh, it's so good to be here today.
And the trio is back.
We are all
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, thank y'all for your patience while I chase around to doctor's appointments.
Absolutely.
No
We know that things are going much better for you. So really happy about that.
Thank
Happy about what's happening for you. Yeah.
So I'm Reverend Melinda Wood Allen, and from the Church of One Love in Dallas, Texas. Really missed last week, and really glad to be back with my sisters this week and with all of you joining us.
Yes. Yeah. And my name is Reverend Dr. Pjae Stanley, and I am the spiritual leader for Harmony Spiritual Center in Fort Worth. Thank you so much for being here with us whenever you watch. We're glad to have you.
And I am Kim Andrews, spiritual leader at Unity Spiritual Center, Saxe in Saxe, Texas. And it is good to be back here and have the three of us together and doing what we do together, which is always exciting and fun and deep. And I always learn from the two of you, so I'm grateful for you.
Yes.
Ditto.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, there's this whole thing about triple L, which is lifelong learning, and you think, oh no, there's got to be some place where you're done or you've learned it all. There is no, there isn't.
There's no graduation ceremony.
No. And if there is, if you stop learning, then you're going to start stepping on yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because there's always some new understanding to come out of something you thought you knew. And you did know that, but evolution happens.
Yeah.
Things change, and you have a new understanding. So yeah,
There's
it's always that.
stasis. You're either growing or
No,
you're one or
or
the
you're
other.
shrinking.
Can't
Growing,
just,
shrinking.
I know enough. Let's stay right here. No more challenges.
We're
no
done.
growth opportunities. Let me just stay
Yes.
right here where I am. See how well
Exactly.
that works for you.
If only.
Yeah. Yes. Dream. As someone who said to me, dream on. Dream on.
Bring on.
Dream on.
Somebody gave me my music coordinator last Christmas gave me a kitchen towel that says, they say the Lord never gives us more than we can handle. And then it says, God must think I'm a badass.
Okay. There's a lot of stuff sitting here right now. Yes.
Yeah. You think, can you this week not think so highly of me or not think about me at all?
Yeah, just consider me to be in the remedial class for this week. Can we?
I'm not offended.
Please.
Yes, I'm okay. Thank you.
Yeah, just go away. Bye-bye.
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 PJ, do you want to introduce our subject for today since you inspired it? I'm glad you did. You suggested it. And the two of us just said absolutely yes.
Absolutely. And this is something we've known about, we've talked about, many people talk about, and it's the Four Agreements by Miguel Ruiz. Does it Don Miguel Ruiz?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it's come and gone. It's it's like any other reading. You read it and you get what you get. You read it again, you say, oh, and you read it again, say, oh my. And you read it again, Jesus. And so there's just always more. And again, we just talked about earlier, this evolution of you to see more, to see more. You're at another place where you can see deeper into some reading. And so that's what it was. And I was just listening to the Four Agreements in my meditations. And I thought, wow, this is really great. I haven't been owning it. What it was suggesting in the meditation, it came to a place where, oh, this is mine to own now, not just read about and think about occasionally. It's
Mm.
actually how I'm stepping into the world. And so I just wanted to come back and I was just talking with you guys about it. And you guys jumped on. Absolutely, yes. Let's redo this. Let's go back in it and see what we know about this and how we're using this. And so we thought that we would just do one agreement at a time because they're so deep.
So
It seems like a very simple statement. All
Mhm.
of them seem like simple statements, and they are, but they have so much more meaning than the statement itself. So we're just going to explore each of the agreements, and here they are. Thank you. I was reading our minds. Thanks.
there you
So
go.
these are the four. These are the four. We're going to start with number one, and then go to every week. So the next 4 weeks, we're going to be talking about this and what it means to each of us. I have no idea what Don Miguel might have meant because he meant the writer means what they mean. But what the reader means, what the reader takes from it each time they read it, is what we're going to be talking about next this time. And the three of us have different takes on it. I'm sure deeper takes, different takes, whatever. And so we'll talk about what it means to each of us as we go through this. So that's what we're going to be doing. Thank you all so much for being here for this, and I'm excited about moving forward.
So
So this
agreement
first
number one,
one,
be
be impeccable with your word.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
word is the power to create. Your word is a force. It is the power you have to express, communicate, think, and thereby create the events in your life.
Yeah. Yes. And so this one has always been a part of my life, but not the way that it's being expressed here. I've always been a woman of my word. That has been important to me. And the reason why it was important to me was because of who I am in particular. Because I'm a woman of my word, when I wanted to get something done, I would speak it out loud and speak it to someone, speak it out so that I would be held accountable. So being a woman of my word was a way of me being accountable to what I wanted to have done because I knew if I said it, people would come back and go, "How's that going? How's that going? How's that going?" And at some point, I either have to let that go or see it all the way through. And
Mhm.
so that was the reason why at the beginning this was important to me. But it's come to be so much more than that to me. But that's how it began, with me just being a woman of my word, and so being impeccable with my word and saying um, uh, what it means to what my word means to me is why I first began it, and then we're going to talk about it now. And so yeah, we can take it on down so we can just go ahead and see the three of us talking. Yeah. Um. So what do you guys tell me? What are you guys thinking about it? About the first part? What is it? How's it impacting you? For all of them, and then maybe the first one, but all of it.
well, there's so much in all four
Yeah.
of them.
Exactly.
And I, from the very first time I read the book, which was right after the book came out, um, I I quickly realized that if you did even one of these, truly, that it would be life changing. And
Yeah.
in many ways, it has. A lot of these over the years, and I've reread it, and I've taught it, and I've spoken about it, and there's always more richness each time.
Each
It
time.
goes deeper and richer. Um, but I think in the beginning, when I first read it, it was like, be impeccable with your word. Well, I'm honest. I really try always to tell the truth.
Right.
But it's not just about telling the truth. It's about using your word to create the world that you want.
Right.
And he especially spends a lot of, or emphasizes quite hard, be careful how you use your word, even the unspoken word, because as soon as it's language, you have abstracted an idea. The moment it's in language, even in your thoughts, it's now a word and not just a concept. And the moment it becomes a word, even in thought, even if it's never spoken out loud, it has power and it attracts power to itself. And
Right.
very, very important to not use your word against yourself or anyone else. that impeccability of how many times when you mess up, are you calling yourself a name? Are you saying I'm not good enough? Are you, having half-formed thoughts that are doubting what maybe you're in your fully formed mind, you would say, no, I believe this. And yet, what are those half-formed thoughts that if spoken aloud would be, you would look at it and go, wait a minute, I say I believe this, but if I'm not living that way, then that's not being impeccable with my word. Even if I never speak it out loud, if I'm not living according to my beliefs, I'm not being impeccable with my word. And so it's a really higher standard than just watch what you say.
It is. And every time you read it, you just see it, you just go deeper and you see how much higher the level it is. It's an amazing agreement. All of them are, but I mean, it's just this one, to start with this one, I love it. Yeah, exactly.
I looked up, I'm always looking up words, especially if it's something I'm going to speak on. And so impeccable actually means flawless, without sin, precise. And, I always have, it's been a personal commitment to myself to mean what I say and say what I mean.
Exactly.
But that's only been probably since my 30s, early on when I'm figuring out life and I was out there on my own doing everything trial by error. I was very much someone who would wanted to do or say what would get people to like me, be around, be in relationship with me. And, that got exhausting. And of course, you can't please all the people all the time. And finally, I just realized it was inauthentic and I didn't like living like that. And somehow I got to a version of being impeccable with your word. And then as I got into New Thought, it was about that your word is how you create. It's your power to create. And then I started really thinking about, as I'm saying things, what am I saying? And is that really what I want? And is that really what I mean?
Right.
And is that how I want to convey what it is that I mean or that I want? And so now I like to be incredibly self-aware. And a lot of that is about what do I say and how do I say it?
Right.
And as I'm getting more precise about what kind of life do I want to lead, I'm always thinking about, now, why did I say it like that? And it's not always in like a reframe because I said something or thought something negative. Now I'm pushing it forward where I think, yes, I want that, but why did I ask for crumbs? Exactly. How about if I ask for what I would truly love? What is that? And how do I articulate that? How do I really say something and let people know that, yes, I do care, and there's a particular point that I need to get across, and be impeccable about that.
Correct.
And we were just talking a little bit about that before we got on the air. So all of us, the three of us, think about what do we say and how do we say it?
Yes, exactly.
And I like
come from a meaningful place, and that really represented who we are in the world.
Exactly.
And who we endeavor to be in the world.
Yeah, I like that. Who we endeavor to be, because of course, the moment you speak something out, there's room for course correction. At the moment you say, "Wait, hang on, that didn't quite," because words are, I mean, while they're powerful and all that, they're limiting because you've labeled it. You've labeled it, whatever it is, you've labeled it. And so that's just doing that limits it. And so for me to be impeccable with your word means that you allow yourself to say, yeah, that's what I meant then. And now the expansion of that, the growth of that, the evolution of that is now this. And so you get to do that. So part of me saying, being impeccable with my word kept me, I'm sorry, being a woman of my word kept me moving forward with doing things that no longer served me. And because I said it at one point and didn't acknowledge that, yes, that was true then, and it has evolved. And I didn't allow myself the evolution of that idea, of those words, or what it was, because I said it and I have to stick to that. So it kind of bound me. And this being impeccable lets me go back and continue to be impeccable, not just the one time that I said it, but continue to be impeccable. So ask those questions. Okay, is that still true? Is that serving? How is it helping? How, not only how is it impacting you, how is the word you speak? Because we're ministers, not just on the pulpit, but every time we speak, people are.
Yeah.
How did Mel say that? How did Kim say that? What does she mean by that? There's so much analyzation on our part and everybody else's part, and people come back to me and goes, "Man, I love when you said blah 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 blah." I'm thinking, huh? Did I? Huh. Okay, and so people hear things, and and so it's also inviting that to make sure that the words I speak are what I mean to say and the impact that I meant to have using those words.
Mhm.
You
With
know,
understanding that people are going to hear what they hear, and we'll get to
people
that.
hear what they hear. People hear what they hear. You're saying what you're saying, so all you can do is be impeccable with what you're doing,
Right.
what you're attempting to do.
And that is, I love the definition of precision, being precise about what it is that I actually mean, not just sort of hitting it. But and Don Miguel Ruiz says, flawless doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. We are
Yes.
not. We are human. But I think this idea of impeccability is really the idea of is who I am on the inside, what I am putting, what I am saying, how I am using my language on the outside.
Exactly.
That's the impeccability. And so obviously, as I change who I am on the inside, as I grow, as I mature, as I change, as circumstances change, as I learn things I never knew before,
Exactly.
then my flawlessness, my impeccability is that the word's going to change because I've changed. It's
Right. And
and
had a better understanding.
to say words because you think that's what they're supposed to be, and them
Right.
not match you on the inside, then you do yourself some harm when you do that.
Yes.
So
Yes. And
often,
other people who are actually looking at you. I mean, we're role models whether we want to be or not. We're role models for our children, for the people who love us, all kinds of things. I have people asking me a lot, particularly women, how did you do that? How do you know that? How do you stand in that? So that for people to ask me that, it means they're watching.
Mhm.
And so to be able to talk to people and in order to share that, to say, how do I did that? How do I know this? That means I've got to, there's always a self-examination again and again, not one time, but again and again and again. Am I being true to myself? Am I being impeccable to me? Am I being who I say I am with me as well as with other people? And so it's just a whole deeper meaning than just being impeccable with your word, as if to say, I am a woman of my word, which is that too. But there's more. There's more to it. Uh, and so that's why, the examining all the time and rereading and saying, who am I now? What words would I use? Would I use these same words? Would I use something different? Is has my understanding deepened? And so there's another word that's better, that helps me convey where I am and what I'm attempting to do now, as opposed to what I was attempting to do a year ago.
and in some of his later books, Don Miguel Ruiz expands upon this, and I love the way that he says this. We are always telling the story of our lives. We're taking all this random information and coupling it with whatever's going on in here, and then putting it into language, taking something that maybe is a direct sensory experience and then conceptualizing it by putting it into language and then expressing that language. We are literally telling the stories of our lives
All the time.
So he says, if you're going to be telling a story, we're artists. We're using our words to create our life.
We're
If you're going to
creative.
tell a story, why not create a beautiful story?
Right.
Why are you
Tell
going
a
to
good one.
story? And man, there are a lot of unhappy people now who have the best intentions in the world, who I hear creating really ugly stories with their words.
It is just amazing to me. It's amazing to hear, to watch, and to see the pain the pain that is actually being felt
That's being
by these stories that they're telling. And I just think, well, we are, and really trying. I say there's no judgment. I'm a human being, and so there's some judgment because of who. Because it's trying to rationalize. I'm not going to say because there's some judgment as to we're a new thought, and yet even as we speak and even as we say, that we're inclusive, and that we are that everyone is a child of God, and that we're all individualized expressions capable of creating our own lives and this and that. We find ourselves in an experience that where we forget what we know. We forget what we know, which I think is why we're together.
And we feel
Yes,
justified
we do.
in completely against what we say we believe.
Completely against what we say, that who and what we say we are.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. It's 20 after, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick break and
Very good.
come back. Yeah, and hear from Miss Kim. What? Kim, I feel like I'm monopolizing the conversation.
I'm always the quiet one.
She's the
You.
quiet.
I'm sorry.
All right.
We're
So
back.
we are back with the 4 agreements, starting with agreement number 1, being impeccable with your word.
I'm usually just so enthralled by what the two of you are saying that I'm just not in the conversation. So
Yes, yes, yes. Whatever.
And that was a flawless rendition of what's going on inside of Kim right now.
I'm being so impeccable with my word right now. I was thinking 2 things. You know, I've gotten to where if I can't be impeccable with my word, I don't speak, or I don't weigh in on something someone has said. And more often than not now, I will just say, let me think about that and I'll get back to you. Because I do want to be impeccable with my word. And if it's something that I really need to meditate about, pray about, think about, research, then I'll hold off. Whereas before I would just kind of stumble through it, and it never ends up well. Never. It never does. So yeah, as I get older and as I deepen my spiritual practice, I don't always have to speak. And especially if I can't be impeccable with my word. The other thing is, as we were talking about before the break, it's easy on Sunday morning with people in your spiritual family to talk about oneness. And, everybody comes from love and we are all love. And then we get out in the world and it all falls apart. And somehow we forget what we talk about on Sunday morning. And it is, our lives are hard evidence about what we believe. And I talk about this quite a bit on Sunday mornings, that, somebody can say, well, this is what I believe. You hear them on Sunday morning, and then you see them out in the world and you say, okay, well, that was BS, because obviously they're living a different way. And so our lives are an advertisement of what we believe.
They really are.
What we truly believe.
Yeah, not what we
What
say.
we truly believe. We
we
might
do. We
give
actually
lip
believe.
service
Yes.
to the other stuff.
Yeah.
But all we have to do is look around and listen to somebody, see what they do, because it's easy to talk. It's easy to talk and fire something off and say, this is what I believe is true. And yet, if there's just enough out there and people are watching, like you said, Pjae, and it seems like everybody watches everybody. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
And because we're always in judgment and our brains are analytical. So
Well, and also,
we got to be impeccable.
The 3 of us, because of what we have chosen to do for careers, of what we've chosen to do in our lives, we've really set ourselves up not to be perfection by any means, thank God,
No,
but
not by any means.
have put ourselves in a position where we know we're going to be watched, where when I can speak with authority on Sunday morning, then I need to expect that people are going to look to me to have a certain authority in my life. And if I'm not living according to the authority that I profess to believe in, then I am not being impeccable with my word. So, I mean, it's true for all of us. We're always role models and examples to other people, but
Absolutely.
but
Whether we want to or not,
teacher,
someone's watching.
if you're standing up in front of people, you've sort of declared, yeah, look at me to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing, we have to really take it seriously.
Yeah, it's a vulnerable place to be because you are out there, like you said. Yes. Yeah. And you almost have to have some kind of emotional or spiritual armor. You can't come in needy. So I try not to be overly tired, overwhelmed, because that's when I totally lose it and get a little judgy about myself and start to spiral down. So it's a hard thing. And yet, I haven't chosen a different life right now. So it's just part and parcel of the job. It really is.
The job.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can't run with the big dogs, get out of the yard.
And it's not about being held to a higher standard, but it's about being held to the standard that we profess, that we say.
Exactly, that we really believe. Mm-hmm. And certainly I came to New Thought because, I think many people, I won't make the assumption that everybody did, but I certainly came to it because I needed to hear, I wanted more than a Sunday morning spirituality. I needed a 7-day-a-week, 24 hours a day spirituality. Mm-hmm. And so I'm encouraged to do that because I believe what we're saying. And just because I believe what we're saying, I believe what Jesus talked about. I believe that we love one another. I believe that we're all brothers and sisters. And yet that belief is not necessarily that easy to walk in the world with and to treat everybody that same way. And so I don't want to say it's a challenge because I don't want to set it up as if it's a challenge, but it certainly is a reminder all the time of are you living the spirituality you said you wanted? And it's not that I said I wanted it. It's that I actually do want it. And so that's one of the great reasons why I step on the pulpit, because I'm being watched, and I know that. I'm cognizant of that. I'm not doing it because I'm being watched. I'm doing it because I'm the very thing that I did in those chairs was watch the leaders and go, but you're not doing it. I can't. You're not. Why are you speaking about something you don't know anything about?
Yeah.
And so it encourages me to continue to make sure that I am living the life I'm speaking about, that I'm believing in. Mm-hmm. And again, that's about being impeccable for me. That's, and so again, we're interpreting it however we see it. But that's how I'm seeing it. There's something that Mary Morrissey says, and she says the content of my life is the evolution, or the content of my life is the curriculum of my evolution. The content of my life is the curriculum of my evolution. So as I'm looking at my life, that's how I evolve, by looking at it and saying, am I showing up the way I say I want to show up? I get to evolve in that way. So that's what our lives are. It's about looking at it all the time and evolving to the person you are. You were born this way, but the experience of life is the challenge. The actual experience of life is the challenge. So,
yeah, I think being in New Thoughts really just put my life thoroughly back in my hands, because I think if you believe in a God that's out there, then when I was there, I thought about God being responsible for me.
Right.
And I went to God for things. I went to, fix me, help me, give me this, I need this, things like that. And my prayers were always prayers of supplication. And New Thought gave it all back to me. And it said that I have this innate divinity. And just like I was raised, because my parents were good about that we had to police ourselves. And so I was already used to that. And I thought, so now this means that my spiritual life is that as well. And especially, I was like you, PJ, where I thought I want my spirituality to be thoroughly enmeshed in my life, my
Yes.
whole life, in
Yes,
everything.
my whole life.
Not just, I was the Sunday morning 45 minutes of Mass.
It's not gonna
If
cut
that's
it.
all I did, and that was all my only relationship with God, then, you know, it was hard. Living was hard like that. And so I wanted something that I could really bring into my life and give myself to. And really what I did was give myself to myself.
Exactly. I love
And
that.
take on these things. How am I thinking? How am I living? How am I in relationship? How do I show up at work? What am I saying? Do I mean what I say and say what I mean? And
Right.
take full responsibility for me, for my happiness, my joy, my pain, everything. And it is a tall order. And
It is.
I think that's why a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah. It's work. It's
Because
ongoing
no
work
matter
all the
what you
time.
say is the problem, you got to look at yourself.
Ooh. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh
there's the
no.
rub, right? Oy vey.
Oh, May. There's somebody out there. There's nobody to blame. Gosh darn it.
Yeah, I just wish. And even when I'm there for a minute and I think, oh, it's their fault, I think,
Uh, mm,
yeah,
mm, no.
I'm
Yeah.
responsible. We've talked about this before, right? In other shows. Even if somebody does something to hurt me, I'm responsible for my emotion, for my
Or
feeling.
my hurt
And
feelings.
then
Correct.
what meaning I give that.
Right. Right.
And then it's up to me to either give them power or not to hurt me again. So
Correct. Yeah.
it all comes back to
Keeps
us.
coming back. One of the things that I ask myself when I feel myself, starting to get fired up about something or whatever, upset about something, the question I ask myself is, what's it to you? What's it to you? You know, so I have to be thinking about what is it to me? What's got me fired up? Why is a statement that they just made? How is that? What is that? How does that give? What meaning does it have for? What meaning have I assigned it?
Mhm.
And that's powerful. That's
Yes.
powerful that you can do that. And so that's the power to create. That's the power to create that we keep talking about. Create our own lives and go, nope, I don't. That's no. I'm not. I'm not handing over my power. I don't need. You're not. I'm not going to be triggered. That's what we talked about last week was triggering, and the ability to respond as opposed to react. And so all of that is what we get to choose. That no, you don't. You're not going to have that over me. And so nothing in the world. So then, if that's the case, then that means nothing in the world that happens can trigger me because I know that what I can come back and go, what's it to you? And if it is something to you, what's yours to do?
Yeah. In 12 step, they say, how important is it? How important is that?
Mhm.
How
Yeah.
much import are you going to give it?
Mhm.
Right.
I
Because
really
that's your choice.
the world is what it is. What it is to you is up to you.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. It is what it is. Right.
It is what
Look
it
at
is.
you.
What is it to you? Because you can make a mountain out of it if you want to.
Exactly. And I love that. So again, the thing that we want, the thing that I certainly want is to be to have the power in my life because we say we are powerful. If we are individualized expressions, that means we're powerful. And so that's the power right there to decide. Uh, no, this has no meaning. Yes, it does, and this is the reason because I'm. And so, this is how I'm going to respond, or to respond to something. This is how I get to. This is how I choose. I'm not. No one's putting it on me. This is how I choose to be in the world. To be a woman of my word. To watch my words because I know words can either bring joy or pain. I know this for me or for others. I know this. So, what is it that I want to do? If I believe and I do that unconditional love is transformational, unconditional love is transformational. It just the energy to love somebody, to love them, not the behavior, them, them. That's powerful, and we all get to say yes or no to that. And there's no right or wrong. It's just yes or no for you. That's all. But that's all you need. That's all I need.
But remembering, like you said, you have power. And in
Yes.
the same way that you have power to create what you want, you have lots of power to create what you don't want. You
Correct.
know?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So we're constantly examining and saying, I don't want this. Well, how is this here? Why, if you don't want this, why is it here? What are you saying yes to? You're saying yes to something.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you saying yes to? Yeah.
Yeah. Even if you're not consciously choosing, you're making a
Yes.
choice.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it all goes back to, what am I thinking? What do I believe? And what am I saying? And so if we're not impeccable with our word, we have to go all the way back to the cause of it, which is our thoughts and our beliefs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So awareness.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're all making
Awareness is
choices all
key.
the time, but if
Yeah.
you're not even aware that you're making a choice, it's as if you don't have a choice. You're just on
Right.
autopilot.
Mhm.
You're doing what habit mind tells you to do. Awareness is the way to be able to be impeccable with your word. It's to
Yes.
be
Exactly. Exactly. So,
I choose
again,
choice. Yeah.
yeah. So again, deciding to be awake, and not in that woke sense that we're using, but in awake for you, because in awake that you're awake to your life, that you're awake to what matters to you.
Mhm.
And we know if we're awake or not because we're feeling the energy is there. We're feeling it. We're feeling something, and we can examine it. Go, what's that about? We can just asking that question, that word right there, that question, what's it about, brings an answer because you're looking for one. It's not that hard. What it is are we ready for the answer? I think is what it is. Are you ready? Because whatever answer it is, I mean, there's work to be done. So, so, so the question we got: are you ready for the work? And sometimes people say, what? I'm not ready. I know there's work to be done. I'm tired. I'm taking a break. I think I am. I'm just going to rest here in this nonsense until I'm ready to do the work. It's
I
a
can throw
conscious
my hands
choice.
up if I want to. I'm allowed. I'm allowed
Okay?
to do that.
I'm allowed to do that.
But
I'm allowed to say,
sometimes I'm very aware it's going to be too uncomfortable for me to stay there very long.
exactly. I know this. So I know whatever rest or break I'm giving myself, it's not going to last long.
I can't unknow what I know.
That part right there, you
Yeah.
cannot. You cannot unknow. Yeah. You can't unsee. You can't unknow. You can't.
I think it was when we all started in ministry, those first couple of years, and I was trying to figure out what it was all about and
Yes.
what needed to be done and getting the first things done that first year, the second year. And I really did not I can't even say I didn't take good care of myself. I didn't care for myself at all. Everything I gave everything to
Yeah.
my center. And life just really got ungainly. It was terrible. I was stressed out all the time. I was tired all the time. And it took me a minute after I really sat down. I think I got sick. In fact, I think I got the flu and really was just terribly sick for about a week. And, plenty of time to think in between naps and taking care of myself. And it dawned on me because I think I said out loud, it feels like this train is just running down the track and I'm just trying to keep up with it. And then, I had this thought, well, I'm the one running this train.
You get to set the schedule.
I get to
You
set the
the
schedule.
button.
I love it.
I can pull into a different station. I go on a different track. I can slow it down. If the train is out of control, that is my fault. My
Yeah.
fault. And I need it to get together. And I didn't spend any time kicking myself. I said, oh, okay, all right. So the first realization was I'm driving this train. And if I don't like where it's going, or I don't like how the trip is feeling, I get to change it, which gives us all the power in the world to do it. And if you're giving away your power to other people to dictate what your life is, then yes, that is stressful. And yes, you're sitting there waiting for other people to do so that you can do what they want you to do.
Yeah.
And so maybe if they're impeccable with their word and they know what you want, then you get what you want. But usually people are trying to get what they want. They're not concerned about you.
They can't be. They don't know what it is you want. They can't be.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
yeah, they
We
can't
don't
be.
know what we want.
They
So how
can't
can somebody else know
possibly.
what we want? Yes.
They won't. No, can't be. And they'll always get it wrong. And so, and the other thing too, because I'm working with, you work as we all do. We're counselors and ministers and this and that. And so, the other thing is that we're working with people and they're going down a track. And and they don't really necessarily care for the track they're going down, but they're also not really ready to do anything about it. So it's like, okay, and so it's it's okay. It's a choice. No need to worry. No need to worry about it. It is what it is, honey. This is your life. It's okay. Just when you're ready. And people don't like to hear that word, by the way. Just when you're ready. What do you mean? Well, honey, have you moved on it? I mean, I don't know how to explain that ready part anymore. Have you moved on it? Because you're not ready. It's okay. I'm not. It's not a negative. It's just a fact. You're not ready because you would have moved if you were.
Yeah, there's no judgment there. Yeah.
There's no judgment. I'm just saying. I'm just making a point. When you are ready, the teacher appears. Everybody knows this statement.
Yeah.
When you're ready, the teacher appears. So if the teacher hasn't appeared, what's the thing? What's the obvious conclusion?
Not ready.
Student's not ready. Student's not ready.
And when you are ready, and when you do start to step out, then that's when the universe starts conspiring to bring you what you want.
Conspiring.
That's when doors open and people start showing up, money starts showing up, whatever it is you need, all those things come to you. And that's why it's important to be impeccable about your word. Because then, sometimes you say, oh, why did that show up? That's not what I wanted. And you have to go back to, what did I speak into existence? What did I say?
Right. What did I believe? What was underneath? What was underneath what I said? Yeah.
Yes.
What was underneath what I said?
A lot of people now are talking about the research has to do. You have to resonate with what you're saying.
And I love that word. I love that word. It's absolutely true.
If you're not, then you're given mixed signals, and the universe doesn't know what to do.
Well, I'm gonna sit here and you let me know when I'm gonna have a drink, and you let me know when you actually know what you're talking about.
Actually, they say the universe responds to your energy, not to your word.
Exactly.
That's what I'm hearing now. You can say all you want, but if your energy
if the words and the energies don't match, correct.
So it always goes with your energy. So you can say, oh, I'm wealthy, but your attitude, the way you live, and your presence is I'm broke.
Energetically, you don't believe that.
Broke. Yeah.
Right. Correct. That's what's going on. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back. All right. There was something we said when we left, and I wanted to come back to, and of course it left me. I didn't write it down. So
we were talking about the energy that the universe is responding to our energy, and the resonance of are we resonating with the words that we're speaking? Yeah, and it's a bit of a, I don't want to say hard. I don't want to use these words. It's a bit of a to understand what resonation means. It's not a word that you can explain. It's the words you feel when it happens. You can feel it when it happens, and then you know. Do you guys have a way of explaining it? Resonance. Well, in the literal sense, resonance means the resounding, right? It comes from the same word as resound. So something doesn't just stand on its own; it actually multiplies on itself. It's like you feel the vibration of it. It has to do with vibrationally. So we've all said a word and seen it gone completely flat, and we've all seen or heard a word or a poem or a song or something, and everything in our soul just went yes. Rose right up to it to meet it. Yes. The resonance. Yeah. And sometimes we're speaking something into existence that we don't yet resonate with. And perhaps the speaking is the first step toward resonating with it. So it doesn't mean we're wrong. It just means we're taking a baby step. We're putting some language to it. And then we're seeing, how can I resonate to that, with that language that I'm using? I love it because you're exactly right. When it comes to, I think I shared this with you guys before. I'm sure I have, because it has been in the past. It's not now. But the idea of the universe is abundant,
And that's one thought, that's one thing, the idea that I know and believe to be true. On the other hand, I was raised with the idea that money is the root of all evil. So I can have abundance of all kinds, but not money. So whenever I said money is a part of my abundance, there was this little like burn, actually a burn on my heart, like heartburn
Yeah.
on my heart. And I had to keep saying it until the heartburn went away.
Yeah.
Until I was actually able to resonate with, and then once I did that, I actually, and what happened was I started to say, I am spirit. I am the universe. I am an individualized expression. So I am responsible for the money flowing into my life. I'm responsible for that because I can say yes to that. And so you understand. So just starting to use words that help me understand you are claiming it or not. And so why would love stop me from having the money to use to help, to serve, to do all the things that money can do? And just kind of talking myself into it until I finally got there.
It's very interesting because I heard that phrase a lot in the religion of my childhood too. Money is the root of evil.
Yes.
Actual quote is the love of money is the root of
that
evil.
was always left out.
Yes. If
that
you
was always left out.
Money above other things, then that will lead. That's called greed, right?
Right.
That's called abundance.
Correct.
That's called greed.
Right. It's not. Yes.
Money's just a
I
tool.
like that.
Money's just a tool.
Money's a tool, like everything else.
But what does it mean to you? What have you
Right.
decided it means?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So
I think it's important to remember, everything this is a journey. And so if the first thing you're doing doesn't work, you just try something different.
correct.
And you keep moving and you get closer and closer. Like you said, Melinda, it doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're on this journey and you just try something new. You go to plan B, you go to plan C, and you keep trying until you hit it. And when you hit it because it resonates.
Yeah.
It does resonate.
You get this feeling. And I always know, because if something brings tears, happy tears, and I think, oh, I just hit it. I just hit it. And or I have this overwhelming sense of peace where it just is right. And I'm not worried about anything anymore. I'm just in that spot. And I have this, and it usually ends with gratitude. And I think, oh, just thank you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it is the feeling. It is something that wells up inside of me. And I think we have to be aware of that. I think as we're aware of ourselves more, then when you've hit it. And I think for everybody needs to figure out, what is your sign that you've hit it?
Yes.
And that may
how do you
change
know?
over time, because mine's not the same as it was even 5
Right.
years ago. So you just have to be present with yourself, because as we grow and evolve, things change for us.
They do. Yeah, they do. And one of the plain speaking things that I realize I can do, because I'm very plain speaking when it comes to my relationship with spirit. And I say that to spirit, make it plain. I don't know what you're trying to tell me. I need to make it so I can understand what's mine to do. What are you saying? That it's actually you talking to me. And then spirit says, well, who the hell else would it be? And so I love that. But when I have something on me that's got a heartburn piece of thing, because I'm trying to believe something I know is true, but it's not resonating, and there's a burn on it, I've learned now lately to just say, take this away from me. I don't want this. I want the truth to resonate. So show me the resonation of this truth, because it's the truth. And to just ask spirit to show you what it is for you, what the resonation is like. Well, we can ask for everything we want. We can tell spirit, show me the way, because I know this is the truth. And so I don't want this anymore. I don't want to live with this anymore. I'm done with this. I'm ready to move on. That's it. And that's a prayer for me. And so why can't we just use that? Because it's just simple. It's simple, and for whatever reason, it needs to be a bigger thing. It needs like a Lord's Prayer or something.
Back to all this, it requires awareness. It requires that you are in touch with yourself and you're asking yourself the question, that there is that part of you that is the I am.
Yes.
It's because your ego is out there doing stuff. It's using words. It's doing all kinds of things.
It is.
And it's not evil, but it's the very truth of who you are. So you witness. You have to constantly be the witness of your life. and
I
ask
love
the
it.
question. And in that awareness is where you'll get all the answers. Because the answer to that question, who else could it be? Well, it might be my ego telling me something that is maybe not exactly true, or that I kind of want to be true, or that I used to believe is true, or that I'm afraid to believe anything different because I've been so conditioned to believe. But when I'm standing back there, and when I say, Spirit, speak through me,
Right.
speak to me, speak through me, then I can recognize that. I can recognize what's true and what's not true.
Right. Right. And that very thing that you just said, that when I said, who else could it be? And you said, well, it could be ego, but it can't be for me because because that's not what I asked Spirit for. And so it won't be. And so I recognize ego has a whole other feel. I know it immediately that has a whole other feel. And so when Spirit's talking to me, and I ask Spirit, is that you? And Spirit says, who else would it be? Telling you the truth. Essentially, I left that part out. But that is what it is for me. And so yeah, back to your point, Melinda, is that you need to know what Spirit sounds like to you. You need to know the difference. And so that's a part of the awareness for us, each of us individually. What does it sound like? What does it feel like? How do you know? And you can just ask Spirit that question. Show me something, make it plain to me that I know the difference between ego and you.
Yeah, self-awareness.
Yeah, that's what we said.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to be impeccable if you're not self-aware.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think even the word impeccable sets up a high bar. But I think as I say now and affirm, I'm an infinitely powerful spiritual being. That means I have more than what I need to be impeccable. And I can do that. I have to commit to being that, and then take a look at it without kicking myself and say, oh, maybe I didn't hit the bar this time, but this is what I've learned from that. And this is what next time, this is what I need to do. Why wasn't I impeccable? Was there fear there? Was there doubt there? Was I not feeling well? Was I tired? Was I agitated? Whatever it was. And do I need to go back and say, sorry, that's not what I meant to say.
Yeah, King's X.
I apologize. This is what I meant to say.
Yes. This is what my heart actually meant.
Sometimes we have to do that. I've had to do that a number of times in my life.
Yeah.
But impeccables, I like that he used that word because it does set a high bar. And I think we should think, I think it's important to realize who we are and what we're capable of. And that we always have more than we think we do.
Yeah. Absolutely. We do. Okay. Yeah.
And I know we've all had that experience where we think, I've given all I can. And Spirit always says, oh, well, there's always more. There's always more.
I don't think so.
And it can come from a good place, from an easy place, but we have to allow that rather than white knuckling it and fighting things.
Yes, that part.
Looking at impeccability as being an accurate reflection of the truth within me. An accurate reflection of the truth within me. And if I'm not paying attention, I won't know that.
You won't.
You won't.
And so,
the stimuli.
Yeah. So, you're back to what you've been saying, you have to be aware. You have to pay attention. You have to desire it. You have to desire it. We get what we want to do. If we don't want to do the work, because there's no question about it, that it's work. And I'm not saying it's hard work. It's not out digging a ditch. It's just work. It's just consistent, continual work, and not resting on our laurels and saying what's next, because there's always an evolution. So as we climb the ladder, we see a whole other step, or a whole other horizon, or a whole other vista we didn't realize was even there.
Yeah. And sometimes, it was a bitter pill when I realized, oh yeah, that was an accurate indication of who I was at the time. I just didn't like who I was at the time. I didn't like how I showed up. And that's when the truth, you go, ouch, okay. So I need to work on how I showed up.
Right.
So yeah, it was accurate. It was ugly, but I showed up ugly. So yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Exactly.
that.
There
Ouch.
is that. There is that. All right.
So we have
we're getting,
about 5 minutes left. So anybody want to sum up? Was that from Princess Bride? Let me explain. No, it's too long. Let me sum up.
yeah, I think let me just sum up what it just being impeccable. The bottom line for me is that our words, the words that resonate, create. The words that resonate with us create. And so we just want to be clear about what we're using, the words we're saying. That's what, to me, what being impeccable means. So that we continue to show up the way this is what, who show up as who we say we are, doing what we say we want to do, being who we say we want to be. And and not just for us, but for other people as well, because our words go out. They don't just stay with you; they go out and they touch other people. And so the words that we're using create our lives, and they create things in other people as well. And I get that other people are responsible for what they take in and that kind of thing, but we're responsible for what we put out. We're responsible for what we put out. And so, just to me, if I'm being impeccable and putting out and doing my best to put out love, then I hope that whatever goes out is being received that way. Um, and that it's going out in the way that I intended. It may or may not. That's not my role, but that's what I'm attempting to do by being impeccable with my word, knowing that they're creative.
Yeah, I think for me that, being relentlessly and deeply self-aware is a superpower. And it does give us the power to be impeccable with our word and with our lives and with how we show up. And that for me, that solves a lot of issues and helps to move forward in a very positive way.
And I just want to everything that's been said, yes, 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 and that self-awareness is number one. If you don't know what's going on, you can't make a conscious choice about what you want to do. But Don Miguel Ruiz talks a lot about not using your words as weapons against yourself or against another.
Yes.
Do not use your words as weapons against yourself or against another. You are never impeccable if you're doing that.
Yeah.
And so watching what I'm saying, because we have a tendency to pick and choose. Well, there's certain people I can say words about because they're those people. And there's the big ussing and theming that is going on in our country. It has been going on for quite some time. But it's important for us all to realize that there is no them, and that our impeccable words are for all, not just for, quote, us, because we're all us.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to next week. So next week is, what's the second agreement? I forget.
Make no assumption. Don't take anything personal.
Don't take anything personally. Man, if you can do that, you have conquered the world.
The world.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be a great discussion.
Yes, that's my favorite one.
Yes.
Favorite.
So thank you, everybody, for being with us.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comments. Check it out next week. We'll be talking about the second agreement. Don't take anything personally. Contact us at realtalksisters@gmail.com or our website, realtalksisters.com. Thank you, Zoe, our producer. We appreciate you. And thank you, my friends, my sisters, for being here with me.
It's always fabulous.
Thank you, Zoe.
Always fabulous.
Thank you, everybody that showed up today.
Have a great day.
Yeah.